The sun-drenched sanctuary of the South African bushveld is often a place of very harsh beginnings. Survival of the fittest is the only law that governs the wild for a tiny lion cub. For a fragile cub named Spirit, and the law of nature failed before it ever truly began today. Born into a captive pride, stressed by environmental changes, Spirit was cruelly rejected by his own mother. He was left shivering and malnourished on the cold concrete floor of an enclosure, growing much weaker. His tiny cries were growing weaker by the hour, just as his life seemed to be flickering. The environment was sterile and cold, offering no comfort to the dying animal, left all alone now. A young conservationist named Elena stepped into the pen while others saw a dying animal instead today. Elena saw a soul worth fighting for, and she made a silent promise to the small cub.
She promised that he would never be alone again as the discovery phase of the rescue ended.
Spirit's condition was deteriorating rapidly as severe dehydration set in, making every second count for his life.
Danger escalated as the cub's vital signs dropped, and his internal temperature fell to a critical level.
The struggle for survival worsened as the cub became unresponsive to Elena's gentle touch and soft voice.
Malnourishment had left him too weak to lift his head, as the danger of total organ failure.
The environmental conditions inside the pen were worsening as the night chill began to settle in deep.
Every moment spent in the cold was a step closer to a tragedy that Elena refused today.
The cub's heart rate was faint as he struggled to maintain the spark of life within him. Exhaustion was taking over the tiny cub as he fought against the cold and his own weakness.
The situation reached a breaking point as Spirit's muscles began to twitch from extreme electrolyte imbalance now.
Conditions were worsening as the cub's body began to shut down from prolonged neglect and lack heat.
Spirit's struggle became a fight against time as the window for a successful recovery closed very fast.
The risk of shock was immense as the cub's system struggled to process the lack of nutrients.
The danger escalation phase continued as the cub hovered between life and death on the clinic table.
The struggle for survival reached its peak as the team prepared for a more invasive rescue effort.
Rescue awareness grew as the team observed Spirit's condition and assessed the urgent need for medical tools. Rescuers observe the cub's veins as they prepare to insert a needle for life-saving hydration now.
They assess the best site for the IV, as the cub remains in a state of unconsciousness.
Preparation of medical tools is completed as the team moves into the active phase of the rescue.
Rescuers prepare to stabilize the cub as the awareness of his critical state reaches its absolute peak.
The assessment continues as rescuers prepare tools to monitor oxygen levels while the cub fights for life.
The rescue awareness phase involves constant observation of every small change in the cub's physical state today.
Rescuers listen for respiratory distress while they prepare further medical intervention to prevent a sudden cardiac arrest. They prepare specialized formulas as the team transitions from immediate stabilization to the next phase of care. Observation is key as the rescuers assess the cub's reflexes by gently touching his small padded paws. Fluid therapy is the primary tool as the rescuers observe the cub's skin elasticity for signs of improvement.
They prepare thermal pads to provide consistent heat while the team assesses the cub's neurological response today. The awareness and arrival phase ends as the team is fully prepared to take the next step.
Active rescue process begins as Elena attempts to stimulate the cub's suckling reflex with warm milk now.
Elena persists with the bottle, while the vet continues to monitor the IV fluids entering Spirit's system.
Step-by-step actions involve manually opening the cub's mouth to introduce the first drops of formula. The cub swallows as the rescue continues, with no skips in the feeding schedule for his survival.
She maintains a careful upright position to prevent aspiration, while the active feeding process proceeds very slowly.
The active rescue includes constant medical checkups to ensure the IV line remains stable and fully functional.
The Spirit begins to show small signs of life as the feeding process provides essential energy to his system.
Continuous action involves physical stimulation to keep the cub awake and focused on the feeding process now.
Step-by-step actions include burping the cub to ensure his digestion proceeds without any painful gas.
The active rescue continues as the cub begins to react to the presence of his surrogate mother.
She ensures the milk temperature is consistent before resuming the next step of the active feeding process.
Blood monitoring is a constant part of the active rescue as the team tracks Spirit's internal recovery.
The active rescue sees an increase in the cub's strength as he begins to suckle more vigorously.
Heart stabilization is a key outcome of the active rescue process as Spirit's vitals reach safe levels. The active rescue transitions into a period of rest as the cub finishes his first full meal. Respiratory improvement is noted as the active rescue process continues to provide a stable environment for recovery.
The IV line is removed, marking a successful step in the active rescue as Spirit's condition stabilizes.
The active rescue involves constant companionship as Elena prepares for a long night of vigil and care. Every action is designed to ensure the cub feels the warmth and security of his new protector. The active rescue phase ends as the first night passes and Spirit shows clear signs of awareness.
Critical rescue phase begins with a sudden aspiration risk as Spirit struggles to clear his airway now.
High tension fills the room as the team works to prevent fluid from entering the cub's lungs. Near failure occurs as Spirit's oxygen levels drop rapidly, requiring careful adjustments to his breathing position today. Critical rescue phase involves high stakes as the team fights to clear the blockage in the airway.
Careful adjustments to the suction pressure allow Spirit to breathe again as the crisis begins to resolve.
High tension transitions to relief as the immediate threat to Spirit's life is successfully managed and cleared.
The critical rescue phase continues with a thorough check for any signs of aspiration pneumonia developing today. They make careful adjustments to the feeding technique to prevent another choking incident during this critical period.
High tension remains as the feeding proceeds with extreme caution to ensure the cub's safety and health.
The critical rescue phase sees an increase in the cub's alertness as his system finally stabilizes again.
Careful adjustments to the medical plan are made as the team prepares for the stabilization and recovery. Near failure is forgotten as the cub shows a strong desire to move and explore his environment.
High tension is replaced by joy as Spirit demonstrates physical progress during the final critical rescue phase.
The critical rescue phase nears completion as Spirit shows normal play behaviors for a healthy lion cub.
The stabilization of the cub is achieved as the critical phase ends and the extraction process begins. Successful extraction from the clinic involves moving Spirit to a safe outdoor environment for his continued growth.
Immediate care continues with physical exercise as Spirit regains his natural strength and coordination in the sun.
freeing Spirit from the bottle involves a successful transition to a solid diet for the young lion.
Stabilization includes the emotional bond, as Elena provides the warmth of Spirit so desperately missed since his birth.
The treatment of the rejected orphan is a success, as Spirit grows into a powerful young predator.
Extraction from the sanctuary is the next step, as Elena prepares for Spirit's release into the reserve.
The separation is immediate care for Spirit's future, as he moves toward a life as true kin.
The extraction is complete, as Spirit is freed from captivity to live in the protected wilderness reserve.
Spirit is stabilizing in his new home, becoming a dominant male and protector of his own territory.
Immediate care has led to a successful transition, as Spirit becomes a father in the African savannah.
The reunion is the final step in the extraction process, as Elena returns to see her Spirit.
They observe the area as a massive male lion emerges from the thicket toward the small human.
Rescuers observe the tension as Spirit assesses the identity of the woman who saved his life once.
Spirit?
Stabilization of the moment occurs as the lion recognizes the voice of the hands that held him.
Immediate care is proven, as the lion recognizes the nickname Elena calls out across the savannah today.
Recovery and resolution are achieved in a soul-stirring embrace between the king and his surrogate mother.
The animal regains its strength and love, proving that time and distance are powerless against their bond.
A calm closure is reached as the rejected orphan and the woman share a moment of magic.
The heart of a lion is deep, proving that loyalty persists even in the wildest of hearts.
Spirit's recovery is a testament to the power of kindness and the survival of the once dying. The resolution brings peace, as Elena knows that her spirit is thriving in his safe, wild environment.
He has successfully transitioned from a rejected orphan to a majestic ruler of the vast African plains.
The bond of true love remains, as Elena remembers the hands that held him when he was. The story of Spirit and Elena is a powerful reminder that we should never give up hope. For in the heart of the wilderness, the bond between species can truly change the entire world.